Good afternoon, Comms 301. My name is Ashanti, and today I'm going to dive into the concept of performance, but not just in the traditional sense of theater or public speaking. Instead, I want to explore what performance means to me personally and how it shows up in my everyday life. When I think about performance, I see it as a way we adapt and present ourselves in different contexts. Whether we realize it or not, we're constantly performing to fit into the roles expected of us. For me, performance is about being conscious of how I adjust my actions, behavior, and even appearance depending on the situation. Let's explore what this looks like in more detail. For me, performance is about adapting my behavior to meet the expectations of specific situations. It's not about being fake or inauthentic, but rather about presenting different facets of myself based on what's required. According to performance studies scholar Richard Schexner, I don't know how to pronounce that. Performance is doing something up to standard. I interpret this as adjusting how I act to align with what's expected of me. It's like switching gears depending on who I'm with or where I am. In my life, I often find myself shifting between roles, whether it's as a student, a supervisor at my job, or just hanging out with friends. I'm constantly aware of how I need to present myself. I see performance as a way to navigate social expectations while still staying true to who I am. When I'm in the classroom, for example, I perform as an attentive and dedicated student. This means taking detailed notes, making eye contact with my professors, and participating actively in discussions. This is my way of performing, showing, doing, a concept that means making your actions visibly intentional. Even when I might be tired or distracted, I perform the roles of an engaged student to meet the expectations of that environment. For me, it's not just about absorbing information, it's also about demonstrating that I'm invested in my education. By showing that I'm paying attention, I'm able to build better relationships with my professors and peers. As for my role as a supervisor, at work, I take on a completely different role. Here, performance means projecting confidence and authority. I'm responsible for leading a team, which means that I have to be clear in my instructions, maintain a strong tone, and use assertive body language. This aligns with Richard Schexner's concept of restored behavior, where I draw on learned practice action to fit the role of the leader. I often rehearse these behaviors, like giving feedback or addressing conflict, because it's important to me that I come across as someone who knows what they're doing and talking about. In a way, it's like skipping into character that aligns with what's expected of me as a supervisor. So what do these personal examples have to do with the broader concept of performance? Here we go. Performance as adaptation. For me, performance is about adapting to different social environments. It's not about putting on a mask, but rather about bringing out certain parts of myself that are needed in each concept. The idea of restored behavior really resonates with me because it's something I do every day without even thinking about it. Whether I'm preparing for a meeting or for a meeting or getting ready for class, I find myself rehearsing behaviors that I've learned over time to ensure I meet the expectations placed on me. To further illustrate the concept of performance, let's look at a powerful example. Greta Thunberg's speech at the United Nations. Thunberg's speech is a perfect example of how performance can amplify a message. When she says, "How dare you?" she uses her tone, facial expressions, and pauses to emphasize her message. This is a clear case of showing doing, where her visible frustration underlines the urgency of her message. What I admire most is how she uses performance not to put on an act, but to bring authenticity to her words. In a way, she's using restored behaviors, like rehearsing her speech and performing her delivery, to communicate her passion. I have included a link as well, so you guys can look at that. As I reflect on what performance means to me, I realize it's more than just adapting to expectations. It's a way to connect with others and to express different sides of myself. For me, performance is a tool that helps me navigate different spaces. In a classroom, it allows me to engage fully, and at work, it helps me to lead with confidence. The challenge, of course, is finding a balance between adapting to social expectations and staying true to myself. I think of performance as a way to be flexible without losing who I am. To conclude, we've explored how performance plays a role in my life and how I've learned to adapt my behavior to fit different roles. Whether it's in the classroom, at work, or even in a casual setting, performance is something we all do consciously or not. Understanding these concepts has helped me become more aware of how I present myself and the impact it has on my relationships. It's a powerful reminder that while we may be playing different roles, there's always room for authenticity. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'd be happy to take any questions.